it's absolute. But it's absolute. But it's absolute.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey you, yes, you. Put down the remote and pick up the frying pan.
It's time for breakfast.
Welcome to the best place to prepare for Rise Online. This is The Breakfast Show.
Hey,
Woo!
that was huge.
Sorry for wooing so aggressively.
Welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Thank you. Me or them?
No, well, yeah, all of us.
Yeah, no, it's good to be here.
You know what's weird? Behind that camera is someone's lounge room.
Do you know what's weird? Behind those eyes is a massive calling that God has for you.
Thanks, man.
That's all right.
I needed that.
Yeah.
Did you know that this show was actually voted the #1 place to prepare for the service?
I'm not surprised.
Because speaking of the service, we have a huge one today.
We've got a massive one, and it's going to be a bit different because it is Mother's Day.
It is Happy Mother's
Happy
Day.
Mother's Day to all the mums, especially mine, and especially yours,
Thank you.
and all of you.
Yeah.
Love you all heaps.
So what is happening in the service?
Today we're going to have 3 of the most amazing mums at Rise Church all sitting on the couch, having a chat, sharing their wisdom.
Cool.
Mums are pretty wise.
yeah,
They know things.
especially your mum.
Well, that's a great segue.
Because
Because
before we get to the service, we actually have a little bit of a treat for you at home.
we have a guest of epic proportions.
Of integrity.
Well, she is integrous. She is a mum.
Her name rhymes with space,
Her name rhymes with egg and spoon race.
similar to mine.
Yes, that's true.
She's the mother of 5 children.
5 children. One of them is sitting here right now.
Can you guess who it is? It's you.
It's me.
Yeah.
I thought it was you.
It's your mum.
All right, let's welcome her.
Eddie's mum. Mrs. Houlihan. How are you today?
Thank you for inviting me here, baby. It's very
Here's your
kind.
coffee. Don't forget that.
It's hot,
Thank
so
you.
It's warm.
It's lovely to be here.
Thanks. Lovely to have you.
All right, cool.
Now,
Don't ruin the illusion.
hey.
Sorry.
We're on a real set here.
Now you have 5 children.
Yes, I do.
Eddie is one of them. Mm-hmm. How was it like raising Eddie? Was it good? Was it bad?
Or to rephrase the question, exactly how good was it?
Yeah.
Well, raising Eddie was a pleasure.
Right.
It really was.
So good.
He did a lot of talking, and
does.
but he was a joy bringer, just the same way as he is as an adult. He was always entertaining, full of beans, and beautiful. Always been
beans.
very, very beautiful.
Was he was he the naughtiest kid, or was he like a good kid?
He was never naughty.
He tries to act a bit naughty. But
I was pretty naughty.
I think deep down he's
Well,
like a good
he
kid.
was never naughty, but he did tell me about a time that him and his friend took my Prado out and drove it around the block.
That's not real. You made that up.
That's not. I thought you were going to say the time we shoplifted,
Oh,
Oh.
I don't know about that one.
car lifted.
Yeah, they drove my Prado. What was your friend's name?
I think that was Connor. at that
Connor.
time.
Him and Connor drove my car around the block.
As if you let him hang out with Connor.
Well,
Bad news, that
who
kid.
knew?
Bad news, Bailey, though.
Sometimes you
He's
don't
made
know.
it.
Sometimes you don't know that they're bad news until
Yeah.
retrospectively.
He's a good kid, Connor.
That must be kind of
I miss you,
hard.
mate.
Like when you see someone hanging out with your kid and you're like, oh, don't hang out with him.
Yeah. I think that God wants you to think, oh, that boy is so fortunate to have my child hang out with.
So
Let
true.
my child be a blessing.
You would think Eddie would influence Connor, but they stole the car.
I thought you were going to talk about the time when I shoplifted because I remember it was like the guilt was eating me up, and I must have been 14 or something. I was in the car with you. I was like, Mom, I've got to tell you something, and you were like, you stole from the shops. How did she know?
How did I know?
I don't know.
I wanted to ask you, when you first came in, I called you Mrs. Houlihan. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel old.
Oh.
You did have children young.
Well, I had my first child when I was 24. That young?
That's
Pretty young.
That's this year for me.
Well.
And in pretty quick succession as well.
I had 7 children.
Nah.
5 children.
There's
God.
7 children.
That's fine. No, okay, 5 children, 8 and under, when Anna Grace was born.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had them in quick succession.
Yeah.
I think it's succession.
Me
Yeah.
too.
I
Well,
concur.
look, we have a reason we brought you on. Not just because you're a mum and you're amazing. We really wanted to play this game with you. Are you up for a game?
I love games.
Okay, well, can you just grab a piece of paper and...
I'm going to give you a pile.
Now, this is a game that we like to call How Well Do You Know Your Own Family?
Oh,
Specifically relating to mothers and sons on Mother's Day.
So here's how it's going to
Quite
work.
a long title.
We're workshopping it as we go. I'm going to ask you guys the same question. You guys are going to write down an answer. Don't look at each other's answers. And then you're going to reveal them to the camera and we're going to see if they match up.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
of course.
Mr. Houlihan, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Mrs. Houlihan?
Mr. Clift.
I'm ready.
Sorry, I shouldn't call you that. All right.
Please do.
I mean, this was a controversial one to start off with.
Okay.
What is your favourite child? Or who is your favourite child, I should say? All right, can we both reveal to the camera? I thought you were right. I thought you were going to write, they're all my favourite.
No, because the only reason I write that is because that's what my children always tell me. But Isaiah is my favourite.
Is he your favourite?
Isaiah's a lovely boy. It's hard not to consider him up there
Okay,
with the best.
we'll leave it at that.
It's not that hard to consider all of them
Okay, this is
good in their own right.
This is a question about your son Eden. Which vegetable won't Eddie eat if you put it on his plate? And reveal. Broccoli.
Is it broccoli? Did you get that too?
Broccoli.
Broccoli.
I think he means broccoli.
don't
Maybe
like
we
broccoli?
should draw pictures instead
Broccoli.
of writing the name.
Broccoli.
You don't like broccoli?
No,
No, it's not. I like
not-
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, different.
He does not like broccoli.
I like broccoli.
It's a little trees. They try to trick you when you're a kid. It's not a vegetable. It's just a little tree.
Is it how she cooks it or just the broccoli?
No, I cook it well.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's just a mental thing for Ed.
It's just a flavour thing.
All right, third question. This one's interesting. What's your perfect Mother's Day gift? What's your mum's perfect Mother's Day gift? It's a hard one. Okay. TV time, TV stuff.
Yeah.
You love TV. That's true.
This is syncing up better than I expected.
You guys are winning the game. All right.
3 out of 3.
This might be our last question because the service is about to start and
That's true.
we don't want to be late for worship like some people are. All right, last question. What does mum do when the kids are at school? And reveal.
It's not true. It's just what they think. I know what they think. I do jobs.
Yeah, you clean, right?
I'm very busy. Very busy. I have
Test
5
out the
kids.
mattress. Still working.
Well, thanks so much for being on
from
our
my-
show. This is our first guest, and you were great.
Thanks
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Is there
for the
anything you want to tell the
invitation.
people before they go to the countdown?
What a blessing to be at church today.
That's right.
So true.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll go to the countdown.
10, 9.
They'll do it for us.
That's not how
They'll
it
do it
works.
for
Okay.
us.
Thanks, Dave.
But it's absolute.
Welcome to Rise Online. We're so glad that you could join us today. If you are new, if this is your first time experiencing Rise Church, we're so honoured that you could be a part of this service. My name is Pastor Tim. This is my amazing mum, Janice, and together we get the privilege of hosting you in this special service.
And today is a very special day. It's Mother's Day. We'd like to say a happy Mother's Day to all you wonderful mums out there and those who have a role of caring and loving for those around you. And we pray today that you will be spoilt by your families, but more than anything, that you are blessed by God in joining us in worship today.
Why don't you take a moment just to comment your favourite thing about your mum? And while you're doing that, take a moment to like and share this service. You know, we really believe that our services are life-changing, life-giving moments, and we hope that as many people as possible get the chance to experience a Rise service. You know, we're about to come in time of worship, and for you, Mum, worship is a big part of your life.
Today I pray that you are really blessed as we enter into worship together. And I pray this will be a moment when you can really connect with God. I pray that as you sing along to our songs and as you allow God to touch you, that your life will be changed and that you will know that you have been in God's presence. And we thank you for joining with us today.
Hey church, we're about to sing a new song, so sing along if you know the words. And I've searched the world, but it couldn't feel me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. We sing, oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you sing them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy, your grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing, and there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. And there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. And there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. We sing, you turn mourning. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who. You turn my grave. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Come on, give him a shout of praise. Jesus, you're worthy. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you, Jesus. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. 'Cause our God reigns. 'Cause our God reigns forever. Your kingdom reigns. Yes, our God reigns. Our God reigns forever. Your kingdom reigns. Come on, declare that where you are. 'Cause our God reigns. Oh, He reigns. Our God reigns forever. Your kingdom reigns. Yes, our God reigns. Yes, He does. And our God reigns forever. Your kingdom name it is. The name of Jesus Christ. What a powerful name it is. And nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus.
We just covered this over you guys.
Alright, let's action.
Hi everyone.
Louder.
Hi everyone. My name is
Start again.
Ella.
What's your name?
Leah.
That's it. Yeah. This hey, Ella.
all my subscribers.
Okay,
you ready? So, are you ready?
Can
Hi,
you
my
get
name
like
is Ella.
paper and like write it down and you
No,
hold
just
it
look at
up?
me.
My camera is stuck in my. Hi, my name's Ella and this is my sister Leah. Happy Mother's Day and we have a special video for you.
What do you love most about Mummy?
Hello, and today I will be talking about what I love about my mum.
What I love most about my mum is taking me to McDonald's, getting Minecraft for me, playing Lego and games.
Dancing! I just want to do some art. Mummy did buy a TV. Love you so much.
My favourite thing about my mum is hugs.
What I love about my mum is that she takes care of me and we also have fun in the kitchen. We cook delicious things together and that's what I most like about it. And we also do exercise.
Something I love about my mum is she cares for us.
Something I love about my mum, she makes us food every day.
Hi church, I like my mum because she gives me a lot of toys and she cooks for me and she loves me.
She gives the best hugs in the world.
Anything else?
Yes.
What?
She lets me go fishing in school time.
Does she?
Yep.
Okay, we better not tell the principal, hey?
No. My favourite thing about Mummy is her looking after me.
Okay, so we've got this bowl of questions here, so yeah, you can edit that out. So we have this bowl of questions here, so what I'll do is I'll get you to pick a question out and yeah, go and ask the question.
Okay, thank you. Oh. Now, this is a really good question. I like it. What's the most rewarding part of being a mum? And I think, you know, both of you could answer that. Is that okay?
Yeah, Louise.
Louise, what's the most rewarding part?
There are so many bits. Especially when they were little and they'd cling to your leg and want to be with you and just spend that time with you. And it was always those mummy cuddles and they fall asleep on you when they're little and But now they're big. My kids are much older now. I must say I'm loving the teen and young adult stage where you get to see, when they're little and you put all of those, you try and put all of those things in. You're trying to teach about character and you're trying to teach them about God and you're trying to teach them, but you don't quite know what the finished product is going to look like. And you put all this really good stuff in and all of this chocolate and sugar and all of these yummy things. But it's not until it's actually baking and you can smell it and you get to see the finished product at the end. I think I'm finding it a little bit like that. I think as my kids go through their teens and become young adults and I see them really taking on board things that I tried to teach them, it just makes my heart sing as a mama. It's just, oh my goodness, they've really taken that on board for themselves and watching them grow into these independent, amazing people that they were destined to be. And that gives me such joy. It just makes my heart sing.
Yeah. What about you, Ness? What do you think's the most rewarding part?
well, my kids being so little at the moment, like I haven't seen, you know, where they're going to go as parents, and I'm in that stage of like being able to invest into their life. And, you know, like I think when they repeat back things that you've invested into them, like, or, you know, start talking to you about God. Like I remember the other day, Leah just rolled over and kind of looked at me and she's like, Jesus is in my heart. You know, like just some of those things that you hear them say, and like you're saying, you know, you put that time, you put that effort in, and like hearing back them understanding the things that are most important, you know, like like their character in that, which is, it's really cool to
lovely.
See those things. Probably the most rewarding thing is,
What a special moment.
Yeah. Her funny moment though was, she's like, I love Jesus, but don't know about that God guy. And I'm like, because for some reason she's had her wires kind of crossed. She's like, because there's always a good guy and a bad guy in the story. She thought God wasn't the good guy. Like had to, teach her about he's a good guy too.
That's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Just the love that you experience. You know, I don't know about you, but I remember when I had my first child and when I've had all of my children, the love that you feel when you meet that person, when that person comes into your arms, and it's a love that you can never compare. It is so beautiful and so strong, and you become so protective and so you just love them unconditionally. And for me, you know, if I think I love my kids that much, and then I think of God's love and how much, I can't imagine loving anyone more than your children.
Yeah.
But then you think that pales into insignificance when you think about God's love, and how mind-blowing is that?
It's beautiful. All right, let's grab out another question. I feel like we're going to get really emotional up in here. Really.
I know. I was thinking I should have brought my tissues, actually. They're just down there.
Alrighty. Okay, Karen, what is the most challenging part of being a mum?
As a mum, you want to fix everything for your kids. And, you know, when they get older, you can't do that. Well, even when they're little, you can't do that. And I guess it is challenging when you can't fix things, when they're unwell, when things aren't right in their lives, and you can't fix it. That's a real challenge for me. And the challenge, as you were saying before, Louise, is actually trusting God too, being able to get on your knees and pray for them, but also trusting God, putting them in God's hands. That's such a huge challenge for me. You know, it's not being able to help them when they're in trouble, not being able to fix them when they're sick, not being able to, you know, make everything right.
Oh, definitely when they hurt. And that, I don't think that ever goes away, no matter how old they get. And when the world's been unkind and something's happened and I can't fix it, like you were saying, or if they've made a choice maybe that I wouldn't have made, or something's happened, something's gone wrong, and I just hurt right on with them. It just breaks my heart, and and I can't step in and fix it, or I can't step in and say, no, actually, I'm gonna take over now. You, my 18-year-old, you can just hang on. Mum's gonna come in and take over now and make that choice for you, or deal with that bully. I'm gonna come in and talk to that person who spoke to you like that, and you can't do that. And I can sit there and put my arms around them, and I can just hurt right along with them.
You want to go, even when they're at work and someone does something wrong, you want to go into the workplace and sort out the bullies and sort out the boss if he's saying the wrong thing. But you can't. You have to step back, let go and let God.
All right, I'm asking another question. Can I ask a funny question that's not in the bowl?
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah, give us a funny question.
Okay, here's my question. When it comes to Mother's Day, do you guys buy your presents? Or, how does that go about in your household?
Well, my kids are all adults now. So half the time I don't get anything.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they'll forget. But Daniel, who has autism and intellectual disability, he can't obviously go out and buy a present. So, you know, Graham will sometimes get a card from Cheapest Chips and let Daniel draw on it or something like that. And yeah, but no, I don't. I've never bought my own presents. It was good when the kids were at school and they could make them.
Yeah.
I loved that.
I feel like we need to talk to your boys about like...
Yeah, you'll have to slap them, I think. Don't put that in.
What about you? You haven't had to buy Mother's Day presents, have you?
Yes. It was only because there was this jacket I really liked and it went on like 70%
Oh,
off
that's
sale,
different.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Then you've got to do that.
That's different.
That's a very big help, actually.
Every time I put it on, it kind of reminds me that this was my Mother's Day jacket. So
Yes.
I'm like, it's just that little reminder every time, I wear it that, oh, my girl's got this for me. Yeah, it's cool. All right, cool. Let's go for another question. Should I ask another question?
Go. Yeah, you go.
All right. Did I take the other question out?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to direct this one to Louise. What is your favourite Bible verse and why?
Relating to parenting, because there's so many good verses. There's this one in Ephesians that says, I pray that you being rooted and established in love will know how deep and how wide and how high is the love of Christ. And I just think I've always loved, I do not know how many cards I've written that in for my kids over the years, and how many times I've prayed that over them, that I figure at the end of the day, if they can have some relationship with God and some idea of his amazing love for them, and I got to be part of that, then I figure I've done my job okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about you, Karen?
My favourite verse when I think about motherhood is Psalm 46:10, and it's be still and know that I am God.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the tough times we need to be still. We need to stop thinking about how we're going to fix things.
Yeah.
And we need to stop thinking about what's wrong and what's going wrong. We need to just be still.
Yeah.
And focus on God.
That's good.
What about you?
I was thinking about it on the way over here, and I was thinking about probably the verse that's impacted me the most in my life, which would be 1 John 3:16. It's this is how we know what love is. Christ laid down his life for us, so we lay our lives down for others. And I was thinking about how, it's about that sacrifice that you make of giving your all to God and laying it all down for him. And for me, that for me is my foundation of parenting, is like that's love is in those moments where you sacrifice, like when you've got little kids or even older kids, like when you're not getting enough sleep, it's like that's what love is. It's that sacrifice. Like sometimes we think it's sometimes a huge expression of something, but it's in those little moments where we give up our time for them, we're actually, showing them love, that, I don't know, that's just the verse that, really has kind of struck out to me before I was even a parent as well, so, yeah.
So talking, like, that must be tough, having little kids, and I can still remember those nights where you'd have hardly any sleep, and then you've got to get up the next morning and function and work and look after them and cooking and cleaning and meeting all of their needs. And how do you find time for God and juggling everything in that really busy season?
I found that when I can take the moments, I take the moments. Like, I think we were talking about that before. It's like those moments that you can just have with your family, you take those moments that you can have with God, you take those moments. But then I've had to start identifying in myself where I need to actually just say to Tim and my family, I just need, some space just to be with God.
Yeah.
But not being too hard on myself, and, you just, like the scripture you're talking about before, is just be still and be able to, in hanging out the washing and taking that opportunity to stop thinking about what's the next task and what I have to do next, and take that moment to be with God, keep trying to spend that time with God and learn more about who he is. So I've just stopped going, it's a regimented. I don't know if that's the word.
Freeing, yeah.
Yeah, sort of thing. And yeah, just take the time that I can take the time to, yeah.
There we go. Okay, so I'll have a look at another one. Let's see what this one says. So which part of God's nature best reflects a mother?
Definitely compassion. His compassion with us. I find even now that my kids are older, my husband's great, and they'll come to us with something's gone wrong, or they're wondering about career choices, or something's happening in relationships or friendships, and he's so good at trying to fix something, and he'll come up with all these suggestions. Have you tried this? And you could try that. And if you tried this program, and if you looked into that, and if you said this, and he'll come up with all these really great suggestions. And I'm the one who'll sit there and put my arm around them and say, how are you feeling? Are you okay? How's your heart? And I love you no matter what, whatever's going on. And it's that, and I think God does both with us. I think he brings that power and the miracles, and he brings the insight and the actions, but he also just sits with us and just loves on us and has that compassion, and I think hurts with us when we hurt, and laughs with us when we're having joy. And I think it's that compassion.
I was thinking just God's unconditional love. You know, it doesn't matter what we do, God still loves us. And I feel like that with my own children, you know. I don't think they could do anything ever to stop me loving them. I can't imagine anything that they would ever do to stop me loving them. But God's love for us is just so unconditional. He's slow to anger. I can't always say that as a mother. But God's slow to anger, and he just loves us no matter what.
So as mums, you know, we have incredible moments, and sometimes we have disappointing moments in our lives. And I've always been, you know, really inspired by your faith, and I know some of your story and things that you've been through in your life, and you don't seem to allow disappointments to cloud who God is. And that's really been inspiring to me. Do you want to share a bit about your journey?
Yeah, I guess, Vanessa, as I was saying before, my oldest son, I have 4 children, and my oldest son, Daniel, has profound intellectual disability. So he's 39, but he's like a 2 or 3-year-old. He has epilepsy, and he has autism, and he has something called movement disorder, which means he can't stay still. So for many, many years, as a young person, I had very strong faith, and I believed in miracles, and I still believe in miracles. But I believed that one day God was going to heal Daniel. And I used to take him to healing services, and every time there was an altar call at church for someone to be prayed for healing, I'd take him out the front. And I think he was probably about 8 or 9, and we took him out the front in a church in Queensland. There was an altar call. And it was incredible. Daniel actually went down in the spirit. He was slain in the spirit. And there's this kid who is never ever still, who's never ever quiet, who squeals and talks and chatters and gibbers all the time. It's just laying on the floor with this absolutely magnificent, peaceful look on his face. And it was absolutely beautiful. And the whole church, everyone in the church had surrounded Daniel, and everyone was praying for him. And I was absolutely convinced that he was going to get up and be okay. And he got up, and he was back to the same old squealing, running, jumping, messy, untidy, biting Daniel. And I was gutted, because I was absolutely sure this was it. This was the healing. And, you know, I thought, how do you do this? So that is a time where you have to be still and know that I am God, and know that there is a purpose for this. And I look back now, you know, and as I said, Daniel's 39. We've gone through lots of highs and lows with Daniel. Daniel went to live in accommodation when he was younger, and has had to come home because of possible abuse. and that's been a really tough time. But I don't know how other mums do it without their faith, because unless I can spend that time sitting back and thinking, you know, God, what's in this? What are the reasons that this is happening? Why are you allowing this? Because I don't believe that God has made Daniel disabled, but I do believe that God's allowed it, and it's had such a profound impact on so many lives. Daniel's impact on the lives of the people around him has been amazing, and his impact on my life, he changed my direction, I guess. You know, I now work in an area where I'm able to help other mums, where I'm able to help other people with disability, and that's such a privilege. It's such a privilege. I mean, it was terribly sad when Daniel didn't get up that time in Queensland, when Daniel didn't stand up and say, "Hi Mum, how's it going? Gee, it's been an interesting ride, hasn't it?" But he's still Daniel, and he's still beautiful, and he still bites, and it's a pretty good bite at 39 years old with a full mouthful of teeth. But, you know, God's used Daniel in so many ways, and I'm just very thankful for who Daniel is. I'm actually, you know, I got to a stage where I can say thank you to God for Daniel, and for Daniel's disability, and for who Daniel is, because he's just such an amazing man. So there are disappointments, but you know, unless you have to look for God for those disappointments. And you know, there are all those cliches that we use, like you know, one door closes, another door opens. All things work together for good for those who love God. But I think, you know, the things that have probably helped me through the most is also looking for other Christian people who've experienced similar things, and just getting alongside people and spending time with God. So what about you? Have you faced disappointments with your children over the years?
Yeah, of course. And some things have been really hard. In amongst all of the really beautiful things, some things haven't gone the way I'd have planned. We went through the loss of a business, and my children were quite little. And my husband was working 2 or 3 jobs, and so he really struggled to spend time with us. And I was working during the day, and then I'd come home and try and be mum, and then I'd have to go out, and I was waitressing at night to try and make ends meet. And we lost our home, and we were living in a gutted house that we'd started renovating. And for some years didn't have a kitchen or a bathroom. It was really hard to parent in that. We were all crammed together, all 6 of us in this very little space. And it was really hard to parent. We were so busy and so poor and very stressed, and trying to parent in the middle of that and not pass that on to my children. And that wasn't the life I thought we'd have. It wasn't the nicely set up little home and family and mum and dad spending time together in the evenings. It wasn't like that. It was messy and it was hard. And my children didn't always have the time and the attention that I would have loved to have given them. And I had to give so much of it to God. And I remember I would pray with them and let them see me praying and calling out to God and saying, look, I know He's got this. And then privately, God, I know that You've got us, and I know You've got our kids. And I've seen so much redemption from Him that technically so many things should have gone wrong from that. Technically there should have been so many problems, and there were so many opportunities for things to go wrong for my kids. But I've seen so much redemption from that. I've seen God draw them to Himself, and I've seen them have to really learn to pull together and work really hard sometimes when things haven't been easy, but they're so resilient and they each have their own faith. And it hasn't been easy, and it wasn't the way I wanted it, but I spent a lot of time on my knees and at the end of the day, give it to God and trust Him and genuinely trust that He's got them and He's got me and He's got us, and we're okay.
So after going through all these seasons of ups and downs, what would be the advice that you would like to pass on to other people?
Be still and know that I am God. Focus on God. Just look to God every step of the way. Thank God for the good times. Thank God for the tough times.
Yeah.
And just really enjoy your children. Enjoy your life.
Yeah.
And just, don't stress the small things, because the small things, will fix. And fix what you can, but what you can't fix, put in God's hands.
Yeah.
Because He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and He can see what's going on, and He will carry us through.
Yeah. That's good. What about you, Louise?
No matter what happens, knowing that God's got your kids, when you're genuinely trusting Him and looking to Him for the answers, you really can relax inside and have that trust that He's got them. He's got our kids, and no matter what they're going through and what's happening at the time, when you just love and adore them and let them know that they're loved no matter what happens, no matter what they've done or haven't done, or what else is happening, that they can always come to you, that there's always that safe, warm spot, that you'll always have your arms open and never turn them away, that they can tell you anything, and at the end of the day, you're going to love them no matter what, because that's how God is to us. What about you?
Well, I think you guys pretty much covered it. It's, keeping your eyes fixed on God and trusting in just every season that you're in, that He is in control, and that, He hears our prayers. He hears when we cry out to Him for our children. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part of the service today. We really pray that this service both encouraged and helped you to become all God has called you to be. Why don't you reach out to us at hello@risechurch.com.au if you have a prayer request, a praise report, or you want more information about how you can engage in the life of our church.
And if you are blessed today and you would like to give, please go to our website, risechurch.global, and hit the give button.
Stay up to date with everything that's going on. Follow our social medias, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube account, and we cannot wait to see you next Sunday. God bless.
Thank you.